it's almost like the home field advantage in other sports, that the guy who feels more comfortable in the gi when the gi is on is going to be able to exploit little things sometimes that maybe even a very talented grappler won't be able to deal with.
Right.
We saw it with Peter Straub earlier that, you know, I'm not saying he doesn't know how to defend a collar choke, but if the guy's good enough at the collar choke and you're not used to having people attacking it, it can be tough.
The higher the belts get, I mean, your basics are very important. However, you know, there's often a higher variety of the bread and butter that people just have and they go to and they know every if in and out about how to land it, and they'll get the job done.
I mean, I don't know if it's quite the big, hairy American winning machine, but Prison Stare is a pretty good nickname. I just like saying the big, hairy American winning machine. It just kind of rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Fighting the grips here, something we haven't seen too much of. Everybody's been pretty content to clinch up and pull guard, and right to the guard pull for Sean Stewart. Hackett just defending, trying to keep his elbows in safe spaces here.
And Sean is working the technique on that kimono.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about, is I wonder, looks like he's looking for a modified cross choke there.
Right, and there's no way that being chased in this position, having your gi pulled up over your shoulder that way, that you don't wonder if you are in trouble and you just don't know it yet.
Well, the thing about this technique that makes it so nice, this is a favorite of mine as well, is that not only is he threatening with the choke here, but he's able to maintain Chase's posture broken down. There he releases it, Chase gets his posture back. He's obviously a lot safer.
You know, and should Sean not even have a plan as far as removing the gi and opening it up like that, it's definitely in the head of the opposite fighter, you know, that this is the potential and this is what's going on, and that, you know, that this motion and this movement does have a purpose, in fact.
If nothing else, you can tell that it clearly bothers Chase Hackett that this gi is being wrapped around him like this.
Yes, you have to be defensive at this point because it could be something and it could be nothing.
I always tell my students, look, it doesn't matter if you know what the guy's trying to do with the gi. If he's trying to wrap it around you, he thinks it's good for him, don't let him do it. Hackett defending well, but thus far not really able to mount any offense. Hasn't been able to split the guard or, you know, let alone, there's not a lot of attacks you can do from here, but pretty much all on the defensive since the guard pull. And again, we talked about that really early on about how the guard pull likely to be utilized a lot in this submission-only format because you just have to bring it to where you're most comfortable. Looking for that looping choke that we saw earlier in the night, but also combining with some armbar attempts here. You know, it's subtle, but there's a lot of little exchanges of motion here.
Right, you can see the hip popping to Sean at this point. Just those little motions, moving him into a more dominant position, getting those angles. It's all something that's a routine and a recipe of getting someone exactly where you want them so you can explode and get that position.
Hackett doing a good job so far keeping his posture up. This is tight, the choke. Maybe not enough to force a tap, but it's enough that he has to worry about it, and now his arms are exposed as Sean Stewart works these legs up nice and high on the back. Chase is in a lot of trouble right here. This, you know, he's not, and there he goes. He shimmies his shoulders right through, back to safety. Excellent defensive instincts from Chase Hackett on top here. But again, I have to wonder, in a situation where he hasn't been able to have much offense. There we go. Now Chase Hackett has a chance to attack.
Right, and Sean on the defensive.
Right to the back. And they're right on top of our commentary position right here.
It's all right. I can see well from here. It's good. Just keep going.
Fortunately, the referee right on top of the action moves him back to the center for the safety of all the competitors and the commentators, because I certainly don't want these two guys crashing onto our table.
That makes one of us. All right, they start from half guard.
Chase just given no space right here. I don't think he liked what he felt from the top with Sean Stewart, or perhaps he's just looking to force a mistake from Stewart.
One approach to this, position is I feel like the guy on bottom often appreciates the space between the top guy, and the top guy, often appreciates to smash. So, you get two people with two different goals, all the while gaining position and grabbing this kimono in completely different manners. It's very much a chess game.
As if to prove your point, Sean Stewart working that knee in there to create some separation, which is really his only shot of a sweep, a change of position, let alone a submission. As long as Hackett is able to keep his shoulders flat on the mat and keep him tied up like that, Sean Stewart doesn't really have a lot of offense. Oh, going for that loop choke again. It looks like he's very dangerous from here.
And when he takes those scoots, he covers a good 1.5 feet forward. I mean, Sean's got some very explosive hips in motion.
Hackett's so heavy here. Again, like you were talking about, giving him zero space. And it looks like he might be thinking about an Ezekiel choke with the right hand here, or he could just be looking to pressure and pass. Either way, the tides have turned here a little bit. Even with a subtle change in position, all of a sudden, Stewart is on the defensive and Hackett is on the attack.
That head positioning seems to be the only thing in the way of Stewart having a 50-50 or a
deep half?
A deep half guard, thank you. A deep half guard. There you go.
Kind of just muscles him through. Still, excellent technique, but when the technique is fairly even, a lot of times it just comes down to that conditioning, that strength, And now we see an almost mirror image of what Hackett was trying to do to Stewart on top, driving the shoulder, walking the hand up under the arm here, and just creating intense pressure on him. And again, Hackett definitely wants to create some space here to sweep, and Stewart wants to maintain that contact. Maybe working on a guillotine here. It's not deep, but if Hackett tries to go to the top, and a nice reversal.
Very nice. That wide base of Hackett on top, you can definitely tell he's centering his hips. And
high guard, looking for the pressing armbar here, or the caving armbar, depending on what you like to call it. But Hackett definitely having to work here to defend. And he does, gets those elbows back to safety.
And Sean back to messing with that gi and getting those grips, those really annoying yet effective grips.
And that's what I was saying earlier on, Kat, is I wondered if the gi wouldn't play a factor here. And Sean Stewart able to manipulate the gi really effectively right here. I mean, almost stripping Chase Hackett of his gi, but he's tying it up around his neck and he's using it to break his posture. And as you said, it's really tough to get your posture back when they have the gi down.
So here we have options for if that head comes in,
and very nice defense from Hackett. Just doesn't even give Stewart a chance to get that attack going. You're right. Looking at it, it looked like he was in bad trouble there, but very, very good defensive instincts there to defend that triangle and armbar combination before it even materialized. This is just a treat to watch. Even if this goes to a draw, we're just seeing such high-level technique right here, and that's what I was saying is that, at the black belt levels, when you get two guys that are really getting after it, that's kind of in some controversy as to the position for the restart here. That looks as good as anything.
Well, here we go.
That'll work. And now Stewart back on the attack. This has just been a seesaw battle, back and forth. Both guys have had their moments, almost identical positions, but Stewart very tight on the back here, working on that collar. And again, the gi might be the deciding factor here. Hackett at this point not even looking to escape the hips, just having to fight to defend. Sean Stewart looking for that body triangle. This is super uncomfortable. This will make you want to tap all on its own, let alone the guy trying to choke you. But keep in mind, we can't do any kind of ankle or leg locks here too, so he's got to be careful every time he commits underneath that leg.
Hackett doing a good job of the wrist control. Sean also doing a good job of rotating those wrists through. So
it's a good hand fight here, but you have to think that if Hackett can improve his position, that it's only a matter of time.
Now that he hopped that hip, though, I feel like he can get out.
Collar. I can't see, it might be out. He's still underneath the chin there, so Hackett not out of danger yet, but certainly in a better position than with Stewart all over his back. And it looks like Stewart might be abandoning that choke to go to work on an arm, and Hackett recovers.
He just kneeled on his face, no big deal.
Sometimes you got to kneel on somebody's face, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to get the job done.
I said.
Very nice rolling omoplata attempt. And Sean Stewart right around the side to defend.
I know time has to be running short, and I'm really sad if this fight ends. but I'm very excited for what I've gotten to watch. This is extremely active.
These matches are 8 minutes, and there we go.
Bam!
That is
Bam!
amazing. You know,
you're welcome for my internal clock.
How do you do that? That's twice that you called the time within like 3 seconds. You must have a hidden timer here.
I do.
That was a great match, and you know, we've been kind of pontificating on who we thought won any given match. This one, I probably wouldn't even be able to pick a winner.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was a great matchup. That was a really good matchup. We're fortunate to have gotten to see this fight today.
And a great showing from Chase Hackett. As I said, he just got his black belt a few months ago, but Sean Stewart has been a black belt for a while now and runs his own academy. And you know, Hackett came out and gave as good as he got. He was close on a few submission attempts of his own.